Do you think m.g.t.o.w is dead in 2025? Well, you are dead wrong, because like a virus, m.g.t.o.w has mutated to influence the entire manosphere with its self-destructive ideology. That's why I'm back to revive the Anti-MGTOW Crusade to expose them once again. Good morrow, ladies and gents. It is I, the Crimson Crusader. Like m.g.t.o.w, I'm not dead either. I've gone through quite a bit personally since 2021, when I stopped creating new content. I'll discuss how m.g.t.o.w is still thriving in 2025, why they're hiding their activity, and how this channel will drag them out into the light and expose them. For those who are new, or it has been a while, I will give you a refresher on what m.g.t.o.w is. Men going their own way, m.g.t.o.w is a primarily individualistic and diffusely organized movement with a mostly online-based community of men abstaining from the apparent danger of committed relationships with women. Their rationale often comes from negative experiences with women and/or their belief that a combination of social, political, and biological factors are responsible for the severe and widespread injustice against men. In response to these perceived threats, they advocate for men to join the movement by avoiding committed relationships with women and instead make both the individual man's self-will and self-interest of the utmost importance. On the surface, it seems m.g.t.o.w is dead. I don't blame anyone for believing that. I thought, well, maybe m.g.t.o.w is truly dead. It seems this manosphere subgroup has been banished into obscurity. It's true they lost much of their public relevance since they peaked in 2018. You can see how interest in the m.g.t.o.w label declined dramatically to where it is now. Although m.g.t.o.w may seem dead, its ideas and prominent creators remain active. Sandman, a m.g.t.o.w YouTuber, continues to produce content. One of the two men who spearheaded the rise of m.g.t.o.w, Stardust, now going by the name Thinking Ape, still posts content, but he no longer openly uses the label as much. Instead of men who are openly m.g.t.o.w reaching the masses, it is men who are subtly m.g.t.o.w and their other red pill allies, sympathizers, whatever you want to call them, that promote the m.g.t.o.w content the most effectively at this point. For example, a popular YouTube channel within the manosphere is Better Bachelor. Type m.g.t.o.w in his channel search bar and you will see videos praising the m.g.t.o.w movement. There is also Cosmicverse, another YouTuber who posts pro-m.g.t.o.w content and sometimes uses the m.g.t.o.w label in his videos. We could go on and on, but you get the point. m.g.t.o.w is here to stay, and so am I. This begs the question, why are men abandoning the m.g.t.o.w label, at least publicly? The reputation of m.g.t.o.w is so stained that any man openly identifying as m.g.t.o.w faces a lot of scrutiny from the public, and for a very understandable reason. m.g.t.o.w is seen as a hateful ideology. m.g.t.o.w is so radically individualistic in its views on human nature that it fails to understand how the identity of each person comes from their uniqueness and their community. When we isolate the communal aspect of our nature, we rip away a part of our humanity and further separate ourselves from others in an unhealthy way. The problem with this is that no person is entirely independent of others. What we do to ourselves affects those around us. For example, when someone neglects their health, it doesn't just affect them. It can strain their family, who have to take on additional responsibilities. This isn't just a personal issue, it's a community issue. We all rely on each other, and when one person's actions, or lack of action, negatively impact the group, it weakens the entire system. We're all more connected than m.g.t.o.w wants you to believe. Every person is a potentially valuable asset if we work together. Unfortunately, m.g.t.o.w is too self-centered. All that matters is what they want, and spreading their ideology to other men to validate this demented worldview. Naturally, when you're part of such a self-absorbed community, no one seems to care what others do because, hey, it's not their problem. As a result, it is a community that, although not necessarily promoting misogyny, allows this hateful mold to spread and germinate throughout the community. m.g.t.o.w is still the Wild West. There is no law, no order, and zero accountability for unhinged men in the movement that go off the rails. If they want to help men effectively, these m.g.t.o.w creators ought to put these toxic guys in their place. impressionable young men are susceptible to these toxic influences on the internet. But of course, in m.g.t.o.w, it's never their fault. Why? Because it's in their ideology. They are not in committed relationships with women because it's something or someone else's fault. You will seldom hear a m.g.t.o.w say, yeah, I'm partly responsible for why I'm single. I could have made better choices. Whether it's women, aliens, you, or me, it doesn't matter. They're always the victims. Without such self-reflection, a community like m.g.t.o.w was inevitably going to have one of the worst reputations on the internet. Instead of doing the hard work of reforming, it's easier to hide under new labels. It's the same game but with a different name for many of those m.g.t.o.ws. In summary, although I personally do not consider m.g.t.o.w a hateful ideology, its own beliefs allow hate to thrive, thus making m.g.t.o.w look like another clan of incels. Since m.g.t.o.w began, the decline of men has only continued in society. Now we have reached a point where even the mainstream is discussing it. The corrupt US government has done more for men than m.g.t.o.w. The government provides welfare, education, and infrastructure, including roads, and maintains public facilities that benefit all. Is it perfect? No. But at least the government does something. m.g.t.o.w complains and sits by as men get screwed daily. The stakes are too high to invest in a group that fails men through its inaction. Men retreating to focus on themselves indefinitely until things magically get better is not a winning strategy. That's why anti-m.g.t.o.ws like myself won't quietly watch them recruit more men to do nothing, which further weakens the position of men in society. Here's the direction anti-m.g.t.o.w needs to take going forward. This is where Anti-MGTOW 2.0 comes in. Anti-MGTOW 2.0 videos aim to persuade men to leave the unhealthy MGTOW environment, to follow alternative anti-MGTOW philosophies and communities produced by Anti-MGTOW 2.0 content creators. These videos necessitate a heavier focus on critiquing the prominent or extreme MGTOW influencers. 2.0 content primarily focuses on having shorter video lengths, being entertaining in a niche way, being solution-oriented, and having hope. I'm also building a new anti-MGTOW community called the Anti-MGTOW Fellowship to compete with the other MGTOW communities. I'm still developing an idea of what this new community will look like. Unlike many MGTOWs, we will be spending more time improving ourselves and contributing to society rather than whining about women most of the time. There are other options than m.g.t.o.w, where men like me will support you. Join us. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's the same game has a different name. m.g.t.o.w's made itself less publicly relevant, but it's still relevant enough to influence other manosphere subgroups behind the scenes. I have more videos on the way where we will expose m.g.t.o.w content. Support the cause by subscribing and sharing this video. My fair ladies and honorable gents, fare thee well.